Welcome back, everybody. We're the Alter Ego Brothers, and we're saying goodbye to 2025. I'm Nick, that's Andy, and today are our top 5 worst and best movies of the year. Make sure to stick around because we're also going to give you our most overrated and underrated movies of the year at the end of the video.
Just to clarify some terms here though, these aren't our top and bottom 5 based on the ratings we did throughout the year. It's actually just more of our personal opinions on it and how we just felt about the movie as a whole. So without further ado, let's get into our number 5 worst movie of 2025. 3, 2, 1. 28
Avatar,
years later.
Fire and Ash.
Oh, maybe I should have put that one on my list. I considered that one.
In Fire and Ash, James Cameron sold us and Hollywood on the same exact movie twice. There's too many CGI and frames issues for a movie that is the main draw. Just nowhere near the caliber that it should be at the level that it's at with the money that it's making. All right, tell us about your number 5.
Well, the reason why I chose 28 Years Later, and I said this in the review, this is the manual on how to be a moron for dummies. The movie should have stayed with the father-son storyline. I did not like it going with the mother-son storyline halfway through. And an 11-year-old is the best actor? Come on.
Shut up. Let's move on to our number 4. 3, 2, 1.
Wolfman. All right, let me defend why I think Wolfman should be in our bottom 5. Wolfman's abilities are inconsistent with its own laws of physics. The acting was lackluster, but I do think a lot of the writing suffocated the actor's abilities. It still sucked. I do think this was impacted negatively by the writer's strike, which landed it at my number 4 spot. See, I liked Eddington better than you did, so you're gonna have to clarify, because I didn't even consider this in my bottom 5.
Eddington landed on my number 4 because it's an intentionally uncomfortable watch that is really hard to recommend to anyone. It juggled way too many topics and lost its overall message in the mix. I did not appreciate this movie. I think that Ari Aster had much better movies in the past, and this one was just a big miss.
All right, so that's gonna bring us to our number 3 worst movie of 2025. 3, 2, 1.
Wolfman.
Okay, fair enough. You put Wolfman a little bit lower. So I guess since I just talked about it, why don't you talk about it?
Wolfman is one of my lowest scored films of 2025. Conceptually sound, but the complete absence of any sort of quality in this film made the case that the writer's strike the year prior was 100% necessary. This film really went nowhere and left a lot to be desired. All right, Andy, tell us about him.
Well, the reason I put him at my number 3 spot is I felt like the movie genuinely had a lot of potential. I was pretty excited going into that one, and I did love the artistic visuals, but they never dived deep enough into the actual story to tell anything meaningful. And because of that, I was really confused as to what they were even trying to go for in this movie. So it scored low for me, and it's just one I would like to forget about. So I had to throw it in my number 3 of worst of 2025.
Let's go ahead and move on to number 2. 3, 2, 1.
Presents. Oh! That's shocking.
Yeah.
I was like, he's going to put it at number 1 and he's going to be so
around.
disappointed I went number 2. Oh my goodness. I guess I'll go first here. So Presence for me, visual perspective was neat, being just the first person of the ghost, except for the incest cucking at times, so that was a little bit weird. The audio dub over the entire movie creates an unrealistic audio perspective. The scenes are uninteresting, and Wes Mullihan's acting honestly saves the ending though, so maybe that's why it got to number 2 and not number 1. I hated this, and I still hate this movie. What about you?
So Presence landed at number 2 on my list, even though I rated it more positively than Wolfman. But time has soured my outlook on this film. I cannot even imagine watching this for a second time, especially knowing the twist, and I just don't see this film becoming any better on a subsequent watch. It was bold for trying something new, but it took a tremendous amount of effort to take that concept and to make it bland.
So that's going to bring us to our number 1 worst of 2025, but before we get there, we have an honorable mention that we'd like to throw out that we considered putting on our list, but it didn't quite make it. So let's hear what we have to say.
Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't really have a lot to say about Jurassic World Rebirth other than it was very boring for a summer blockbuster, and it was if No New Ideas was a movie.
Black Bag. So the reason Black Bag is on my honors list is because I think it's ridiculous to ever score a movie a 0 out of 10, which is why I don't believe it truly deserves to be on the bottom 5, since most people do actually like it. But this is the exception for me. Never have I genuinely not found a single thing I didn't like in a movie. Most people like it, so I guess I'll make it honorable. That's hard to say. I gave it a little bit of respect. Okay?
You gave it a little bit. All right. And that brings us around to our number 1 worst movie of 2025. 3, 2, 1. Smashing Machine.
I forget how to pronounce this fucking movie.
Anemone.
Anemone. Okay, so we're not aligned on our worst one. So that okay. Well, let me go first then, I suppose. Anemone, right?
Yes.
Anemone. Got it. I imagine that sitting through this movie is exactly the same as sitting in an electric chair. Watching paint dry would be way more entertaining. That's all I gotta say about it. Dude, I remember the whole movie. I was literally ripping my hair out, being like, am I allowed to leave as a movie reviewer? Can I do that? Can I do that? Everyone else in the theater had left. I was the only one still in there. Okay, then what about you and your Smashing Machine?
As I was making this list, no other movie could hit the number 1 spot for me other than The Smashing Machine. I am a certified Safdie hater. This wannabe Rocky film was pure PR to help The Rock stroke his fragile ego over the criticisms of his acting. The special effects were poorly blended, acting was wooden all around, fight scenes were pointless, and the story was handcrafted to make Mark Kerr and Dwayne Johnson look as good as possible. In a word, slop.
So that's going to sum up our bottom 5 worst movies of 2025. Now let's get into our top 5.
But before we do that, I have some quick trivia for y'all. Let's talk about the top grossing and the biggest flop of 2025, box office wise. For 2025, it may come as a shock to you because it did to me. The biggest box office flop was a movie we didn't even review. It was Snow White. I honestly forgot that movie came out in 2025.
I thought, you know what? That was 20. I forgot about that one completely. No way, it wasn't even worth reviewing because no one went and saw it anyway.
Exactly.
So for the other fun fact, the highest grossing movie of 2025 was, can you guess it, audience? It was a Minecraft movie, which that one surprises me because I knew how many people saw Sinners and the re-release of Sinners. I thought that had to really boost it up there. That was like 7 on the list.
Minecraft is a huge franchise, man, and it had a lot of fans that went out to see that movie. It was also a big meme, so a lot of people went to watch that movie just for the lulz. All right, let's get back on track with our top 5 movies of 2025, starting at number 5. 3, 2, 1.
Black Phone 2.
Later.
Oh, hey, at least we both had it at number 5, just on the wrong list.
We both had it at number 5.
So Black Phone 2 landed at number 5 on my list because this sequel just continues exactly where the first one left off. I'm not just talking story, I'm talking the exact same sets and same actors. It's so hard to have a sequel match the expectations of the first movie, but this one matches it and arguably exceeds it. So explain why 28 Years Later deserves number 5 on a top list instead of bottom list.
28 Years Later almost received a perfect score from me. I loved everything about that movie, and I felt it set a new standard for zombie, quote-unquote, horror, despite not liking the ending. I am very much looking forward to our first review of 2026 being 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple.
Boner Temple. That's the only reason I'm excited for it. Call this the Bone Zone.
The Bone Zone around here.
So let's get into number 4 of our top movies of 2025. 3, 2, 1. A big,
one battle
bold,
after
journey.
another.
You know, remember last year we lined up so much.
We did.
Only lined up once so
Only
far.
once so far.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly, this landed in my top 5. However, surprisingly, to me, it landed at number 4. One Battle After Another is a brilliant encapsulation of the current political climate and has one of my favorite cinematography sequences in 2025. Chase Infinity is the breakout star and Paul Thomas Anderson's likely Best Picture winner.
Well, the reason I chose BBBJ on my top 5 list and sitting at the number 4 spot is I just sat back and relaxed and enjoyed this one. It's just such a beautiful story. It broke the barriers of traditional rom-com with a creative storyline, and Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie are the Hollywood couple that he needed.
All right, time for that bronze medalist of 2025, our number 3 spot. 3, 2, 1.
One Battle After Another. We switched it up, man. You were so dead on about One Battle being number 4 and being surprisingly at number 4 on your list instead of higher. And I was like,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Should be at least one higher, apparently.
Tell us about One Battle After Another.
This is a time capsule, and it's a better time capsule than what Eddington tried out to be. It represented our current political environment in an entertaining way. The humor added a significant purpose to the plot. And I mean, it's definitely a Christmas movie. So how does it not deserve top 5?
For me personally, number 2 and number 3 are almost interchangeable. Weapons affected me in such a way that after watching it, I had to learn more. I dove deep into the lore and possible meanings and left no breadcrumbs. A deeply imaginative movie that came out of left field somewhat late in the year. Fantastic presentation of the story, deeply compelling villain, and has so much to say about how America handles gun violence in schools.
Let's get into our number 2, second best movie of 2025. 3, 2, 1.
Better Man. We did it!
The number 2 spot again.
I figured this is where we were gonna find our way back.
Okay, we got to talk about Better Man. Let's not digress here.
A movie that the internet deemed unwatchable. That was truly one of the most heartfelt stories of this year. Breathtaking visuals, stunning choreography, and a unique portrayal of mental illness that will stand the test of time. We may not know Robbie Williams here in the United States, but to quote him at the end of the film, for anyone who didn't watch it, fuck yourselves.
I scored Better Man at number 2 because when we first rated this movie, I gave it an 11 out of 10, which is illegal. The CGI from Weta was so good, you forget you're even watching a monkey. But at the end of the day, it is reminiscent of a standard character arc. So that's why it was just shy of the number 1 spot.
Get ready for that drum roll so that we can hear the number 1 movie of 2025.
But before we get into that, we do need to hear our honorable mentions. These are the ones that could make it in the top 5, but for reasons here and there, it fell short.
My honorable mention is Friendship. For me, this was the comedy of the year. I loved watching this movie. I love Tim Robinson. I know he's not for everybody, but he's 100% for me.
My honorable mention is Death of a Unicorn. It's entertaining, it's fantastic acting that brings out the smallest of character details. It might be the best sound engineering of the year. With a $15 million budget, this movie changes the expectations in Hollywood from getting your bang for your buck. So let's get into our number 1 best movie of 2025, and I know we're gonna be on the same page, but here we go. 3, 2, 1. Sinners. Easiest number 1 you could possibly give. We knew we were probably going to hit this one. We talk about it way too often. I talk about it as much as I think about the Roman Empire.
Sinners will be the defining movie of 2025, despite being snubbed at awards season. In 10, 20, 30 years, people will be talking about Sinners and how magical it was to see in theaters. The only movie this year that I went back to multiple times and would go again if given the chance. The story, acting, music, cinematography, everything resonated with me in a way that I could never have expected. The music scene in the barn is one of the best scenes I have ever witnessed. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are an unstoppable force in this movie, supported by an exemplary cast, the likes of which we will not see for a long time. The importance of this movie cannot be understated. I knew when the credits rolled that I had witnessed a piece of film history. Sinners easily took my number one spot on April 17th, and there was no looking back.
I watched this movie 5 times since release in Dolby, IMAX, digital, and then at home twice. It's simply too good. Michael B. Jordan should earn Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor in this upcoming Oscars awards. The history of this era and time is so deeply rooted in the story and so perfectly represented that anything shy of the number 1 spot would be a crime to cinema.
And that's it. That's 2025 in a nutshell from us, the Alter Ego Brothers. Oh, what's that? You want to know more about our most overrated and underrated movies? You came all the way from the beginning of the video to see that? Hell yeah. Thank you. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe while you're doing that.
And surprise.
It's a surprise. Do you like surprises?
I do.
Okay.
Subscribe.
Why can you never get endings to videos correct?
Okay, to be fair, you said John, and then my brain went ding.
This is why we can't get subscribers. Because they're just in the comment section writing surprise, motherfucker. This is our most underrated movie of 2025. This is when we scored really high and everyone else scored really low. And our most underrated movie is Love Hurts. This should be everyone's go-to movie during the Valentine's Day season. It's an unorthodox love story. Every detail was planned ahead of filming. Wounds heal over time. Every prop in the background serves a purpose. And the story is just simply very entertaining.
Now, as for our most overrated movie, the movie that we rated the lowest, that everybody else rated really, really high. You actually already saw it. It was my number 1 worst movie of 2025. If you want to go ahead and go back, it was The Smashing Machine. Just go ahead. Here's the timestamp. You can go back and then watch again up to here, and then go back, and it'd be really good for our analytics.
And here's a link to the video where he talks about it more in our 2025 top and bottom 5. And now we get them to loop. They're stuck.
They're looping.
They are stuck.
And that caps off 2025 with us.
What did you think about our rankings, and what would your top and bottom 5 be?
Thank you for sticking around. And remember, we're just 2 regular dudes
doing regular reviews.
Dude, we should write a review that like full circles. So then like you click repeat or whatever and it like seamlessly goes right back into the review. That'd be sick.